up, everybody? It's Kelsee Briana J, and today I have some new goodies from Christian Louboutin. He launched some new palettes, both for the eyes and the face. I believe these palettes are called the Abracadabra palettes. I picked up these palettes from Nordy's, and they come in boxes. But let's just get into the luxury of Christian Louboutin and how he always believes in a nice, good, eye-catching presentation. So I am here for the box. So here are the refillable palettes, and the palettes do come empty. They retail for $78 each, and they have two different color variations. So we have red and we have black. And both of them have the really beautiful spiked design, and I think that is so cool. And on the back we have Louboutin's name. So these palettes are designed to work with both the blush / highlighter trios as well as the eyeshadow palette. So there are 3 different blush / highlighter trios, and those retail for $78 as well. And I got the shade So Delicate. There's also 3 options for eyeshadows, and I got the shade Bronze Eloise. So let's go ahead and dive into the demonstration. I'm going to walk you through how to do this eye look, and I'm going to show you what the cheek products look like on my cheeks. I know you can see it right now, but I'm going to show you what it looks like as I'm applying it. So I hope you all enjoy the demo, and then as per usual, stay tuned until the end, and I'll tell you all my final thoughts about this launch. Let's do our eyes first. I put my eye palette into the red palette. Look at that, it's red, it's dangerous. So here's what it looks like brand new. It's a hole on the back. Pop it out real quick and see if they have names on the back. Nope, it doesn't. It just says Bronze Eloise. So we are just going to go ahead and call it what it is, brown. I'm gonna take this brown right here. It's a very deep brown with the blending brush, and I'm gonna take that right on the outer corner and just, excuse me. And just pop that right on the outer corner and then blend it up. I did go ahead and put a shade down in my transition area just to give me a little bit of dimension there. And this shade is pretty deep, so I knew I wouldn't want it directly in the crease. I like it just like how it is, right on this outer corner, blend it up towards the crease. A lot of palettes put browns and dark browns in their palettes, but they're never really truly deep. For real, they don't really go there. And I think this one is going there. I'm not mad at it. It's not the most pigmented right off the bat, but it's definitely taking me there. And it's giving me the opportunity to build upon it if I don't want it to be extremely dark. So I'm just going to take that and, you know, begin to diffuse it over. But that's pretty much it. I took a moment to blend that out off camera. I don't want to bore you all, but basically I just took a second and built it up and then blended it over to make sure that it was fully opaque and smoked. Now to decide which color to put on the lid. For some reason, I'm leaning towards this shade right here, like a coppery, rosy type tone. And from the look of it, it looks like something that's going to give me a really beautiful, yes, smooth gelée type application. That's it. That's smooth, it's shiny, it's reflective. That's my favorite type formulation. I knew it looks like that, so I'm very, very happy to see that it performed like that. And I don't really have to go over this too many times because it gives you full opacity right off the jump. And this looks like it's a wet dry type formula, so you can absolutely spray your brush to intensify it. And next, I want to take this shade right here. And you know the little area right here where it's kind of not blended in between this dark brown and the shimmer that we just laid down? I'm just going to tap that right there in the center. This one is a little bit brighter, a little bit rosier, and this one gives a little bit more of a bronzy-ish quality. So I'm just going to take that and pat it on. Hot diggity dog. Now that looks seductive. I'm here for it. I'm going to take a pencil brush, and I want this shade right here. This wet dry formula is blowing me out of the water. It's so smooth. I'm going to take this and pop it here right on that inner corner. Just for a little doop, little pop. Take it on the lower inner corner too. I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm going to pop that on the center. I honestly think this shade is too stark, and I typically don't go for shades like this. So I just did that so you can see what it looks like, but honestly I want to switch it to this shade. I'm going to go on top of that with this one just because I feel like this really, really bright gold, it's just a little bit much for me. I'm going to tone it down a little bit with that bronzy shade just to make it feel a little bit more modern. And then let's take it here, so that way I used all of the shades in the palette. And let's wrap that around and connect it to the top. Okay. What do we think about this eye look? I'm going to add some liner and lashes and I'll be right back. Eyes are done, so now let's apply some cheek products. So I already have a little bit of bronzer on, so now I'm going to go right in the middle here. Let's see what this does. I'm just going to gently apply it in a circular motion on the high planes of my cheeks. I don't know where accents come from sometimes, but they make an appearance from time to time. I was kind of afraid that it was going to be too light for my complexion, but honestly, it's so subtle that really it just looks like how the light looks when it reflects off of my face. Look at this side. I don't have on any highlight. You know, I just have on the bronzer and a natural glow. It almost looks the same way on this side, except for it's a little bit more intensified. I'm going to go here and take this shade, kind of pop that right here as my blush shade, and then I'm going to blend it back. Now that color is very pigmented because I just did a little bitty tap. And it gave me all of that color. I think that color is really pretty. I love how it's glowy. And I like how this is a pop of coral with a rosy, goldenish feel to it. This reminds me of a more intense pigmented version of NARS Orgasm. I don't want to apply the other one on my face, but since I didn't use it, I'll just go ahead and swatch it for you. Let me show you on my wrist. Smooth and pinkish. We've seen all we needed to see here, so let's zoom out and talk about my final thoughts. The makeup is done. Do we like? What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments section. I think my eyeshadow looks very smooth and seductive. I adore bronze looks like this, and I think my cheeks look really glowy and healthy. But I really liked and enjoyed using these products because sometimes I'll get comments like, it's not worth it. You can get this from blah, blah, blah brand. You can definitely recreate this look with products that cost half as much as these. But that's not really the point of luxury makeup, in my opinion, nowadays, because we all know that. So if you still buy luxury makeup, it's because you truly enjoy the experience of using something and you like to have stuff like this, because obviously we could go get colors that look exactly like this, that perform like this from other brands, but do they have this though? No. And you have to decide for yourself if that's important to you, because if it's not, then obviously we have so many different options that you don't have to start off here to get something that's going to perform in the same way. But when we do buy this and we know that we can get things that perform similarly, we do have to look at them a little bit more critically to decipher whether or not it's worth it, because at the very least it's going to be pretty, but we also need it to work for us, so it's not just something that we're just looking at. And we want to use it as a tool to give us a more sophisticated look, and we want to make sure that that look is not going to take us more time than it needs to. So with luxury makeup, we need to have a beautiful design. Christian Louboutin, for me, kills it. I think these look really pretty, and they're conversation pieces. For sure. If you pull this out to put on your highlighter, it's like, oh my gosh, what is that? It looks interesting. So check. 2, you need to have an amazing formula, because if you just give a pretty package, it's only so many times people are going to come back to your brand. So let's talk about these products individually, and let's start off with the eyeshadow palette. I put my eyeshadow palette in the red palette. I can switch them out. I could have put my eyeshadow palette in the black palette. It's completely up to me. The eyeshadows in this palette don't look like they're much bigger than the eyeshadows in the mini Natasha Denona palettes, except for the fact that we have 6 here, and in Natasha Denona's mini palettes we have 5. I feel like I was able to get a really quick eye look, and it didn't take me too much time to complete and blend out everything. The only shade that I had to build up a little bit more is the matte brown one. It went on intensely, but then when I started blending it out, it started shearing out. As per usual, I had to put it on a little bit more to build up that intensity, and I had to do that maybe 4 or 5 times. The main attribute of this brown eyeshadow is that it goes deep. And this is something that is not readily available nowadays. You do have to seek out a super deep brown eyeshadow. And I'm glad that they gave us this, because a lot of times we get mid-tone brown eyeshadows and we don't get a lot that just really take it there. And I feel like this one is a really nice deep one. Aside from that, the rest of the eyeshadows are shimmers, and I like the way they performed as well. I specifically like the wet dry formula more, and I wish that they had included these 2 as wet dry eyeshadows too, because these 2 right right here are just plain shimmers, but these are exceptional in the way that they apply and how blendable and smooth they are and how they give that really beautiful wet appearance to the eye. So I prefer these by far. These two are okay. I think this color is a little stark, and I know they probably put it in here for a pop, but to me it's just a little bit outdated just because most people don't wear this super intense very golden eyeshadow anymore. And this color right here is on trend, the rosy tone, but if it were in this formula, I guarantee you that my experience utilizing this would have been 10 times higher and I would have enjoyed it a little bit more than I do. But overall, I think the eyeshadow palette is okay. I don't think that it's anything super innovative. I like it. I'm going to continue using it, especially these wet dry eyeshadows. I like those a lot. But do I feel like you need to have it? No, not really. The highlighter and the blush trio. So I put mine in this black packaging, and I like the black packaging a lot because it's sleek and then it has that pop of red. So it's a huge contrast, which I think is beautiful. This palette in particular, I think it's a very beautiful palette. The formulation of the cheek products is gorgeous. And I do mean gorgeous. I love how smoothly they applied. I mean, they just blended in and it melted into the skin. And I'm like, did I put it on there? And you all saw on one side I had it on and it gave me a little bit of an elevated highlight. And then on the other side where I didn't put it, it looked similar, but it's like this side looks better for some reason. And so if you didn't know any better, if you put on this highlight and you have a similar complexion to mine, you may not even know that somebody had on a highlight. You may just think that they are naturally glowy. And that's how pretty and effortlessly this blended into the skin. And then when you move onto the blush color, I feel like it gave me a beautiful flush. And I love that. And this color is just gorgeous. It complements my complexion so well. And this pink shade, y'all know I'm not the #1 fan of pink, but if I do go for a pink, I do prefer a muted baby doll type pink like this one. So this blush slash highlighter palette is the bomb in my opinion. I feel like if you are going to get anything from the launch, get one of the blush slash highlighter palettes because these are very well made. I love a buttery highlighter and blush combination that's just gonna melt into the skin, and I think that that's what they did. My only critique for this trio is that I wish this shade right here was a little bit more golden hued as opposed to pearlescent. If it had that extra oomph, like a white gold to it, I probably would never put it down. I think this color works for me. When I saw it in the pan, I was like, fam, that's not gonna work. It's just gonna look white. It's gonna look ashy, but it doesn't. It definitely works. It's smooth. It feels fluffy, almost silky-like. So I am here for that. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I do have a lot of highlighters in my collection that I feel like I can achieve the same thing with. However, I'm happy to have this one in addition to those because I'm a huge fan of Christian Louboutin makeup. And no, I don't feel like it's a necessity. Like I said, there's so many options out on the market right now that you can achieve the same look without spending the money to get the case as well as the products in here. But if you are a fan of luxury makeup and you do not mind spending the money and it's not something that is going to break the bank, I do like this. I'm always going to be a sucker for the details. And as a person who has a very large collection, you do have to bring a different element to the table to draw me in. And for me, the packaging is a different element and I do enjoy the formulation. I know there are a lot of strong feelings about this, but do remember that we are all entitled to our opinion. And I just like to show you all the makeup in case it's something that you may be interested in. Or for some, this just may be fun because you're living vicariously through me because you know you're never gonna buy it. And I appreciate your support, and I do that too. Just because variety is the spice of life, and I like to be exposed to different things. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and I will check you all in my very next one, which will be super, super soon. Smooches! Bye!